says, well, the family of this friend, they are very much into Christianity, so they will not give his real name. They can give another use another name, but with the same real side experience, because they could be funny when they realize that something like that has occurred and has been exposed. So, they understood what I said, the previous experience. They understood perfectly what I translated. Yeah, so there was no problem there.
Well, I understand. And so again, it's the same everywhere. And it was like when Ava wrote the letter, Why I Quit Eckankar, that really disrupted many of the Ekkas and the higher initiates. And so if we don't say something, then everything stays the same and it gets worse. So you decide. And so you don't have to mention names, but you can share the experience. But again, if we don't say something about the chemtrails or the Wi-Fi or the vaccines, then it gets worse. You see? So again, each person decides, and it is getting worse, and it will keep getting worse. And if no one says anything, then everybody's gone, and you're going to come back into nothing. So you decide. We have this chance. You know, all I get is contradiction with what I'm presenting, but I don't stop, because if I don't say it, then it doesn't happen, and the world goes dark and darker. So yeah, you don't have to name names, but you can share the experience creatively. Yeah. So again, you decide, and just like Africa or whatever, there is no difference between Africa and the United States and Russia and the South and North Poles. There's no difference. We're people going through our situations. They appear different, but it's all the same thing. And it's not easier to be brave in the United States than it is in Africa. It's all the same thing. We have the same conflicts here. Just referring to the new school, Kelsey here, she has, contacted certain groups, and basically she just gets resistance. And even with almost everything we do, when I did the first concert with the Vessel Project in 2013 at Orange Coast College, all I got was resistance. And the second one, they canceled it. They couldn't wait to cancel it. We get the same thing here too. We get just resistance and defiance. It's like we're terrorists, and we're not. We're here for everybody. We're wonderful. And so, but if we don't do something, then it doesn't happen, and the world gets darker. And all these people will come back. Yeah, oh gee, we hurt their feelings. Oh gee, it looks like an attack. But it's not. We're trying to warn them. And I see it as a privilege to know this knowledge, to have this experience. So I'm going to take the risk and risk my life totally, my whole life, everything, to do this, because you're only going to be here so long, and then you're gone. You wish you would have. You know, when Darwin went to the other side, he hung his head down because, again, he knew he had failed himself, and now he's got to figure it out. So yeah, you're only here a short time. You decide. I'm not going to convince anybody, but I keep going. That's what I do. And so I see this as a privilege to do this, to do whatever it takes, more so than my personal life. I don't want a personal life. I love doing this. I love risking my life. I love putting myself out there. I'm going to do this all over the world, and I'm going to confront everybody, from the diplomats to whatever, all these knuckleheads that are destroying the world. I want to confront all of them, because I'm only going to be here so long. So again, go ahead, Charles. Yeah.
Okay, Dwayne, I have a question which I forgot to ask. This climate change controversy. Um, just found the United States refused to ratify the Paris Accord on climate change, and they seem to be backing this by some kind of scientific work, by some solid science, to say that there is there's no climate change, and that the world is better off with more carbon dioxide, which the plants need, and that the warming of the atmosphere and the sea levels rising, it's a good thing. It would make many parts of the world greener, and there will be more. They will support ecosystems and new forms of life, and that in fact the amount of carbon dioxide has actually decreased when compared to previous years. So climate change, as it is being touted by in certain quarters, is just a hoax. So I don't know what is your position on this controversy?
That's very good, Charles. That's very good. We have to take this part out here, Kelsey. I like this part. This is typical baloney, political baloney, pure political baloney. Let's go back to the Indians. Did they need all this nonsense? Did they need this stuff? Did they need chemtrails and GMO food and vaccines and Wi-Fi and all these things that are all of a sudden now these things are all necessary, and they're now it's that they're really good for us? And actually, Val, as we're creating Dean Val here, the great dean of the Nations United Universal University, has he's studied some of the courses that Kelsey's going through to complete her indoctrinated doctrine. And yeah, these things are implemented this is the new environmental ideas, just like geoengineering. It's like, oh, we need all this now. Well, it's so funny, a couple hundred years ago, we didn't need any of this, and everything was great. The farming, the whatever, the weather, hey, things had a basic cycles to them. They were great. Now the cycles are all screwed up. We have floods, we have droughts, we have all kinds of strange things going on. We've got fracking, we've got Fukushima, radiation spills. And now all of a sudden, all these things are good for us. It's kind of like that movie with Woody Allen called Sleeper, where he goes to the future. And now all those things that were thought to be bad, like cigarette smoking and whatever, okay, canned tainted meat or what have you, now it's all of a sudden good for you. And that movie was a prelude, was a prophecy of what we're living right now. And if I remember right, that movie was about in the 80s or something. And now we're living it, and now all of a sudden, like the vaccines with lethal barium, mercury, and everything else they put in them, lithium, what have you. This is all good for you now. These things are good for you now. Again, people are being convinced, like the belief systems, and they're accepting it and agreeing to it because this is the modern age. Just like their 4 and 5 and 6G network that's frying their brains and giving them tumors and everything else. And the real information is constantly being suppressed. Just like everything that Monsanto and these other companies create that are lethal, Dow and these other ones, with their GMO and whatever, it's all suppressed. It's all, just change a few words here and there, because we're in a literal society thinking that just by the fact that we think something and we change a few words, as you look up at the sky and you see the chemtrails, it's like, well, I don't believe in that, and I don't believe that's bad for me. So just by that very idea, it's like, oh, instantly, poof, it's magical. It's not bad for you. Okay, well, again, we're trying to warn people. I say do your homework. And so as you look to the real side, what are we being shown? People are having certain experiences and they're being warned. So if you don't want to pay attention, don't. It's your choice. But there's no debate or there's no controversy or any of that with any of this. It's a matter of choice. You decide to wake up and see what's really going on, or you just stay how you always have been and keep pretending that it's whatever you're told on the 6 o'clock news and by the government that's supposed to be your friend. Yes, I have had family members and people I've known, and they want to just keep pretending. Well, I don't, because I see what's going on. I know what's going on, and I see the effects of it. And even though it seems like all the pharmaceuticals are working, guess what? They're not. They're little band-aids. I've used a few of them, but I don't live on them. And so the thing is that no, you can create little cutesy stories around them, but guess what? They don't work. They do to a certain point. They might give you a remedy like a Band-Aid, etc. Yeah, it'll look like you put a Band-Aid over a sore, the sore is healing, but the body heals itself, realistically. The Band-Aid is kind of a protection, you might say, but the Band-Aid did not heal. Drugs do not heal. They are something temporarily, but it's really the body that heals itself. But too many drugs, the body's not going to heal itself. And yeah, there's going to be new life forms, all right, but it's not going to be like you think or want. And just like when Obama ran for president, he ran on change and hope, which they always do. And yeah, there came the change that people really didn't want. They thought it'd be for the better. It got worse. That was the change that they had decided, because it's all planned. So again, you have to do your homework. I'm not going to tell people what to decide or think, but I see what's going on and anyone can see it. But most people do not want to see it. They want the earth to be a la-la land. They want to believe that it is a la-la land and that they will be fine here. Well, yes, you can stay here as long as you want. Is that what you want? Guess what? This is just a little tiny place in life. And there are endless places where you don't have governments and control and poison and pollution, where people are real and wonderful and the environment is awesome beyond any belief or praying to gods or all these things. But if you want this, then just keep doing as you're doing and stay on the earth. So again, there's so much information out there. What really makes sense? And as all this is going on, you look up in the sky and you see the sun shining. The sun never changes. The isness life never changes. And the real universes are endless, but you need to recognize them. So, yes, Charles, it's a heck of a challenge that we have here to break out of the eggshell. And we're very fortunate that we are here with the new presentation and what I've written and what the boys relate to me, etc. We're very fortunate. But if you don't take advantage of it, if you don't share it with others, if you don't expand upon it, then guess what? Just like what you've seen with the corporation, the day that Paul left, he was done. It was all done. I don't care what people do and take the writings. Darwin, got the board of directors, the knuckleheads there that were in control of the corporation that helped do away Paul, got them to pay for the rights, and Darwin was announced as the whatever. And so there started the conspiracy, which is part of the wake up, which is fine. I love the adventure. It's all part of it. I was there. I saw it. It's all okay. But if you want to go along with that, then just get ready for more lifetimes, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So again, you got to figure your own way out of here. That's real. You got to grow up or you don't. So with that, thank you very much. You're wonderful.